Well, thinking about style, that kind of is a nice segue into our next topic. We're going to be doing new segments as the season goes on, and one of the ones we want to do is we want to do fashion police, which makes me think a little bit about the things that we were wearing during the '80s when we were getting so caught up in Charles and Diana's relationship, and the monarchy and world events as they were happening. So since their wedding happened in 1981, which is practically the 70s, when if you think about it, so when the styles that are in that right now are the 80s, the high-waisted pants, these weird sort of like sweatpants, but with like gathered waist. My wife was shopping and I saw those were in, along with she bought this sweatshirt with a lot of crisscrossy black and white like Escher sort of patterns on it, which was very
Mom jeans.
popular. Yeah, you got your
They're
mom
back.
jeans. So
Yeah.
I think back on what the thing, and I was asking each of the guys here to think about some sort of fashion thing that they wore. And the one that I picked was I became obsessed with members only jackets. I became obsessed that if I did not have one, I would not be
You were the
cool.
only member.
I was the only member, and I wasn't even a member of the members only thing because I couldn't afford it. So I got whatever
Y-
the J.C. Penney knockoff was.
That's right. You get them at J.C. Penney, you get them at Family Dollar, you get them at the flea market. And if you were lucky, no one would look at the tag that clearly didn't say members only.
Yeah, whether you wore the fox or the alligator. So that members only jacket, if I look throughout my yearbook for my senior year, you'll see me in it. And in the 11th grade, I really love that. And I think back on it now and I realize,
It was
I,
blue, right?
yeah, it was like a blue, like a slate blue. I'm not sure I ever washed that jacket. If I think about it, I cannot remember ever relinquishing it long enough for it to be washed. So it must have been disgusting and dirty and smelling like cigarettes. Because at first I didn't smoke, and then of course I smoked like everyone else in my family. So it must have just reeked constantly. But I loved that
It
jacket,
smelled like your car.
which probably reeked of cigarettes because
You
it
know,
is
there's
what it is. What'd you say, Clyde?
members only. Membersonly.com
Oh, it's
is
still around?
they're still rocking the original design, but they've of course branched out to
Hmm.
really cool clothes. But they're for the young kids. They're more hoodie style. And it's funny because every one of the hoodie hip hop styles are being modeled by this aggressively young, cute African American kid, but the only two old school are the same white dude wearing two different jackets, and then the rest is like really hip with it, millennial kids or whatever. Well, they're not kids anymore, are they? Gen Z.
The millennials are like in their 40s now. The
Yeah.
older ones.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
the Gen Xers can go as supposedly as far up as having been born in like 79 and 80. So it's quite a
these are all
spread.
80
Gen
was the first year of
now.
millennials.
Yep.
Yeah, these are all Gen Z, and they look cool, and the jackets are awesome. And I bet they feel the same way now that we did with our members only jacket. Because
I had a
Yeah.
black members only jacket.
Yes, you did. I think you were still wearing it when you and I met. I remember that jacket.
Probably.
it
I
had
had that. I
some,
had parachute pants. I had elf boots.
Yes,
And
you
then I
did.
switched over to like this weird um like I don't know what I was doing. It was like pleated pants and like cardigan sweaters
Hmm.
and
yes,
stuff like that.
I
Yep, that's
remember
how
that.
Clyde
I
was.
remember
Yeah,
you went that way.
and I
Pleated
remember
Yeah.
pants. That was Chess King. Chess
Chess
King would
King.
do the pleated
Right,
pants
yeah, Chess
with
King.
the suspenders and the skinny tie. Maybe the little piano tie from Zoolander.
You mean
The
like a bola? You mean a bola tie or just a skinny tie?
skinny tie. Don't you remember in Zoolander? That was Will Ferrell's character,
Right, right.
the piano tie.
I
Yeah.
had the knitted tie. Do you remember those with the square
Hmm.
bottom on it?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I do
I've still
remember
got
that.
all these ties. Yeah, I've got them packed away with my high school and with my prom, accoutrement. And one of them is a very skinny, awesome, I want to say Jordache tie, but I can't remember the logo.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
What about merry-go-round? Did you guys ever shop at merry-go-round? I'm trying to
The
think.
merry-go-round was edgy.
Yes.
Is that more
Yeah, there
punkish?
was one at the mall, wasn't there?
I feel like that. Yeah. Well, because in
One
our
at Hickory
hometown, yeah, for you, you had a much bigger mall, but in Henderson, I'm just trying to think. We had, was it Leggett or Belk that we had? It was Leggett, wasn't it?
Leggett.
We had Leggett's, we
Yeah.
had Roses, we had
Yep.
J.C. Penney. There was a
Right.
copper rivet, but I think it got changed to a merry-go-round.
They
But
had
I
the
would get
Material
like
Girl look in the windows. I remember that because
The
that was
Madonna
really
look, you mean? Yeah.
yeah. So I remember the
Oh, I don't know if it was the merry-go-round was in Durham, I know, in Raleigh. I don't know if there was one in Henderson,
Maybe not.
but I remember it.
But yeah, I loved, I thought we were all snazzy. Suspenders were a thing you could actually wear non-ironically with things. And guys were just starting to wear pink shirts. I remember having some pink Oxford shirts. For some reason, I
we
had a
did go
fascination.
through our pink phase, didn't we? We can thank Miami Vice.
I do remember my ex-brother-in-law was so happy to get the Miami Vice tuxedo for prom. Actually, he actually rented that. Gosh, what was that place?
I did it.
I think I
had the
remember
Miami
that.
Vice jacket. I had the white jacket, the pants. I had the loafers, and
No
did the shirt.
socks.
Oh my God! I had a perm.
You did.
I looked just like Robbie Hart from The Wedding Singer, and I was cool.
I liked my Docksiders.
I think back about
I still
that.
have a permanent.
I got surprisingly little shit for showing up with a perm in 1986.
Yeah, that's okay. I ended up with a perm by 1989 because my hair, straight, flat, not exciting. Unlike my son, who managed somehow to get a little bit of body to his hair, so his long hair looks cool.
That's right. You had a perm and a mullet at the same time, right? A mullet perm.
Total Weird Al Yanni look going all through college.
Yeah,
I mean,
did. I
it was
remember.
not a mullet in that it was shaved along the sides like that. It was because the perm pulled all the hair up and kept
But it was
really...
longer in the back than it was in the front. That's technically.
Oh no. I mean, no, if you stretched it out, it came down below my nose, but it didn't stretch out. And as it relaxed, it became a lot better. I didn't like it right after it was fresh, but once it relaxed a little more, they used to call me Jesus in college. So
it was like a Creedence Clearwater Revival kind of thing, Blue
Backwoods.
Oyster Cult.
Blue Oyster Cult, that's weird.
Well, you had the hair, and like you said, it was only a mullet because of the curl. It wasn't like you shaved it. I mean, we knew plenty of people that the mullet was a chosen lifestyle.
It is now. It's come back. I've seen people with it.
It's all coming
Again,
back.
But it's ironic, though, isn't
Exactly.
it? It's
I was
not
going to say
real.
it's ironic.
I don't know, man.
Well,
And I also want to say this: mom jeans, the high-waisted jeans, I didn't like them in the '80s, and they look even dumber now.
I'm one of those 8 people in the world that love them. I always have. I always will. Something about the waist and how it just accentuates the whole thing. And I always found it. Maybe it was because Debbie Gibson wore it. And
I can give you that. Yeah. I mean, somebody famous obviously wore them. Otherwise, it wouldn't be sexy for you. Like Scully made shoulder pad business suits super attractive.
Scully.
She is.
80s though, is she? They're 90s.
When
She
did
graduated the
X-Files?
same year as we did.
Yes,
know
she
that?
was our age.
Our
Yeah.
age.
Mhm.
Yeah. It came out in 89, 90, 91, somewhere around
Because
there.
we watched the
No, it was
finale,
it was
in
early
the-
90s.
Yeah. That was a show that went 2 seasons too long. I think that's probably the textbook college course of ending a show when you're at your height rather than
The
staying too
final
long.
season a couple years ago, I felt very, very, very satisfied.
Oh, you're talking about those two revival seasons.
But
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
like
watch any of
season
those.
11.
yeah.
It is of the official season, I think 11.
Oh, I'm sure. I meant the original run then, the first time it was
Oh yeah,
around.
I know.
So like
Yeah.
when Firefly comes back, they'll have to differentiate.
They're not.
I only saw the first X-Files movie. I didn't see the second one.
You could have skipped it. If I remember correctly, it was more sort of the same. They had potential that they never really wanted to pay off on, but apparently they
I don't.
did. And
I mean, they closed it the final season. At first, it was only like 8 episodes, and then they did a final 12 episodes the following year or something, and that closed the story. They answered everything.
well, that's good. I should check that out. There's
You
lots of
should.
good television on right now.
They wrapped up Cancer Man. They did the whole thing.
It's just
Fantastic.
weird. Cancer Man, the actor that played Cancer Man, is in the show Upload. You can get it on Prime, which is like a comedy about the afterlife being virtual reality and being uploaded into it. And he plays sort of an aging villainous sort of guy, and he's up there in age. He looks like they prop him up to do his
I
scenes.
thought he died.
Or at least he was still alive as of season 2 of Upload.
And he was Cigarette Man, not Cancer Man, right?
Well,
But he died
cigarette
of
smoking
cancer in
man.
the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yes,
So-
the character, quote unquote, died, but they explained that in the final season.
So I thought they called him Cancer Man. I know that they also called him Cigarette Smoking Man, but I'll have to look
Oh,
that
the
up.
Smoking Man. That's what they
Smoking.
called him, the Smoking Man.
Smoking Man.
Let's
Pretty
just-
sure.
And
let's
he was
say
actually
X-Files-
a reformed smoker. He didn't smoke anymore, and so the things he insisted on having prop cigarettes that didn't have tobacco in them, so it wouldn't make it problematic for him. So good.
Oh,
for
by the way,
Mhm.
we're still in the 80s technically because their first season was 89.
Okay.
Kids
Well,
in the Hall, I finally got around to watching the new season that came out
I've seen
earlier
the
this
first
year.
episode of it. So
It's really funny.
Of what?
Kids in the Hall.
Oh, whew. Ooh,
yeah, the new season. I saw the first episode where they're totally naked, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's when you don't have to.
Yeah,
worry about...
they really went for it, man. They
Yes.
really did.
You know what's funny is Dave Foley has gone really, really far into the UFO paranormal stuff. So he does the UFO podcast thing, interviews a lot. So you can find him on a lot of good UFO podcasts because he had his own experience, and that pulled him in. So it's fantastic.
Good deal. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Kids in the Hall should be one of our retro rewatches for this season. So somebody make a note of it.